Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second season of the Downright Capable talk show, Changing the Way Others View Down Syndrome. I know Brian and myself are super excited to be back here for a second season with all of you. We have a great lineup of topics and speakers that we're going to be sharing with you. But first, I just want to take a moment to thank all of our viewers who've been following us for the last season. We thank you for your support, showing up here live, commenting, and sharing our show with others. So thank you again for all of your support. But if you are new to our show, welcome everyone. Let me take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Marla Marasco. I am a award-winning Down syndrome advocate, a speaker, an author, and the mom to an awesome 13-year-old boy, Jacob, who just so happens to have Down syndrome. So before we get into the meat and nuts of everything, let me take a moment to just share with you some housekeeping notes. So if you are watching this on the replay, again, hello, thank you for being here. You can still comment and you can still share our show with others. And we just encourage you to stick with us until the end of the show because we really do have an exciting announcement for our next speaker that's going to be joining us in September. So, Ryan, can you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely.
What we're going to be talking about with everyone today.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Marla. And I am very excited to be back for season 2. And I'm so grateful to be working alongside Marla and just doing what we do and getting the word out there, changing the way others view Down syndrome. And that's what we hope we're doing. And those of you who are watching, I hope that you are getting some good information and feeling like you can help change that narrative as well. Like Marla said, my name is Brian Herndon, and I'm a special and regular education professor. I'm an advocate, a former school principal where I served as LEA for over hundreds of meetings, IEP meetings. I'm a dad to 4 awesome kiddos, one of whom rocks that extra 21st chromosome, and his name is Nate, and he is 11. So we have very busy lives, as I know all of you do as well.
Yes.
Today's show, we are excited. So this is our first show back after taking the summer off. And today I know everyone is, probably most of you have started school, or if you're not, you're about to start school. And we want to talk about the importance of building a good relationship with your team. Because if you don't have a good, solid relationship, it can make for a very long year. And so we want to talk a little bit about that. And then also just parent vision statements and just the importance of being able to put your vision out there. And if your child is old enough that they contribute their voice to that as well. And so we want to talk about both of those things today. So we're going to just jump right in and talk about the healthy relationships that we can build with our child's team. So a couple of things we want to talk about is the 4 A's. And so I'm going to explain that a little bit. First of all, the approach. This invites and expects family involvement. There is a belief that creating the IEP is a shared responsibility. And so when you have that approach and you go into the meeting, you go into that team with the notion that it's a shared responsibility, you're going to work better as a team. Positive attitude. So approach and attitudes. We, need those positive attitudes by both the family and the school so that things can happen. Actions can take place. Every family member has their own values and their strengths, and parents can help their child be successful in school with the necessary information and the support from the IEP team. So when you have that positive attitude, it's just really going to make for a better relationship, honestly. You want a welcoming atmosphere. So when you think about going into that meeting, I know a lot of times you go into that meeting and they are sitting on that side of the table and you are sitting on this side of the table. And it just kind of sets the tone for it is them versus you.
Correct.
And I think maybe if you sit at a round table, that might help.
Exactly.
I know you parents can't always ask for a round table because you just have to take whatever you get. But those of you who are school district employees, think about that because when a parent walks in, it is intimidating, it is scary, and you want to set that atmosphere where you do feel like you're equal members of that team. And if you can sit at a round table, or even if you have that square table, and you can just kind of all, the team can also sit by the parents. I think the more that you can create that atmosphere, the better. And I've never done this personally, Marla. We'll talk about this in a minute, but maybe bringing treats or just something to kind of break the ice a little bit, I think creates
Yeah.
the atmosphere.
I
And
haven't
then,
done that, but it's a good
yeah,
idea.
I haven't either. But then the last A is action. Once these are in place, then an effective family school partnership can begin to take action so that then there's a successful outcome for the learning of your child. So, effective communication and administration support is so important for all of those. So, just to review, we've got approach, attitudes, atmosphere, and action. And when we think about that, we just think that, parents, you are equal members of that IEP team. You want and you need to give input, and you need to be respected and to be asked for your opinions. As an educator, I know personally that it's hard to remember at times because we are the ones that have had that training and the knowledge and the skill set in the world of education or therapy or whatever.
Right.
But we must remember that the parents are the ones who are the expert on that child.
Right.
And so, Marla, maybe we could just dialogue a little bit. What do the 4A's look like in your world? And maybe I can share a little bit about what they look like in my world.
Sure, absolutely. So approach. So here's a perfect example of how we approached Jacob's first year or seventh grade, first day of seventh grade. It wasn't technically the first day. But what I wanted to do was I reached out to our team chair and asked if we could meet the teachers before school started, because I thought that if we could all start off on a good foot, they know him, he knows them, it's kind of going to set everybody off on a good foot. So we did meet, and some of the teachers did know Jacob. I'm not sure how, but they knew him. But the good thing was, the first thing we did is we handed them the All About Me page. And I know we talked about that in our first show. And if you want, you can go back. I'll actually put in the comments the link to where all of our shows are. But we handed them, or Jacob handed them the All About Me page. And
Wonderful.
just kind of real quickly share what that is. It's talking about what worked for him, what doesn't work, what he likes, what he doesn't like, what he's working on. And I got a really positive response. They were really excited, and they thanked us because they'd never seen it before. Which is a shame, because if you think about it, they know what your child looks like on paper through data input, through reports, through testing. They don't really know anything about the child, like Jacob likes Notre Dame and all this kind of stuff. And then it was really good for each of them to go around the table and introduce themselves to myself and to Jacob and share a little bit about what they're going to be working on in the classroom. And then he kind of shared a little bit about his summer. So it was really just an approach of, hey, we all want to be collaborative here. It is a team effort, and him being a part of that conversation was really important. And I wanted them to see that he has a voice, and he's a stakeholder in this team effort. So that's how we approached our first day.
Well, and I'm so glad to hear that, because that makes me feel good about what we did as well. Because I was actually getting ready to email our we call him maybe a process coordinator, but the person who kind of organizes the meetings and takes notes and makes sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And she literally called me that day and said, "Hey, would you like to get together and meet the team?" And I said, I was actually getting ready to contact you to see if we could do that. And so we did. We got together before that back to school night, and there were a lot of people in the room, but Nate got to introduce himself. We talked about his likes and dislikes, talked about things we thought went well for him, things that were a struggle for him. Of course, he left for part of that meeting, but he got to stay for part of it as well. But I felt like it was just a great way to set that tone for, hey, we are all here together, and this is the guy that we're all here for.
Right.
And so I love that. I always forget to do the All About Me thing, Marla, and I love that you do that, because as you were talking, I thought, sometimes we hear Down syndrome or whatever your diagnosis is, and we put on those Down syndrome glasses, and we think this is what Down syndrome is. And while there is some truth to that, there is a lot of not truth to that, because everyone's individual and everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and they are different. And so if we put on these glasses of this is a child with Down syndrome, and we don't look at them as individuals, I think we kind of lose focus.
Absolutely.
And so that approach, I think, is very valuable. So that's kind of what it looks like for us. So it's very similar to what you did, Marla.
Yeah, well, that's good. And again, I'm glad that Nate got the opportunity to go meet his teachers as well, because I
Yeah.
think, that's important. And, the next day, which we talk about, is attitude, and that, we all bring some sort of skill set to the
Right.
table. And it's an attitude of, we need to value everybody's opinion, everybody's strengths. And, we all have opinions for what we want for the child, for our child at the end of the day, and they need to be valued.
Absolutely.
We, as you mentioned, Brian, are an active member of that team. And at the end of the day, we are also helping our child at home. So what I always say to them is, we are very active parents, and we are very involved parents, in that whatever you have from work perspective, vocabulary, spelling, whatever, let us know, send it to us. Because what I said to them was, we are like the continuum of education, but at home.
Absolutely.
We're all working together to, get this child the best education. And, we're helping along with the teachers
Absolutely.
to the success of that child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, and I love that because it does lead to that positive attitude. It does lead again to that kind of going into the atmosphere too. But that is something that we're doing. We're in the midst of doing right now with our team. Is so we went and met the team. And then I had actually reached out to the assistant principal just to see if we could walk the building, because it's a new building for him this year.
Yeah.
Before that back to school night, and find out where the classes were, and they were so kind to do that.
Mhm.
And that just to me again led to that positive attitude, led to that positive relationship that we got to go and just kind of seek it out. So then when we came to back to school night, we actually let Nate kind of take us where he needed to go,
Right.
and he felt like he had ownership in it.
Absolutely.
And so we're actually in the midst of now. So I don't know if you have to deal with this, but our son's team uses Google Docs a lot for
Yes.
assignments and different things. Well,
Mhm.
I have to admit a little embarrassment here.
Okay.
We've never had to deal with it because our older kids just took care of it on their own.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, now Nate is doing it, and we are having to log in and try to figure it out, and what's due when, and how much of the assignment does he have to do. So I am actually going tomorrow to meet with his teachers, not as an IEP team, just his teachers, and to kind of find out, because when I log in, I want to make sure that I'm not making him do something he hasn't been taught yet, or redoing something they don't want to do. So this is a little bit of a new world to me, but it is that positive attitude. We're going in with the, hey, I want to help you help my son at school, and I know you want to do the same. So I hope that that it's leading to positive attitudes with him as well. The way we're handling things, I feel like it is.
Yeah. Well, and that goes into the next day, which is the atmosphere. Everybody wants to, it needs to be a welcoming, not contentious atmosphere, not only for the school personnel, but for the parents, for the advocates that might be there, or even the child that they're sitting there at the table. It needs to feel welcoming, regardless of wherever you are in your journey of the IEP. Everybody, like I said, everybody needs to be valued. And so, again, I'm not one to bring, food into, but if that's something that might be an icebreaker or whatever, the atmosphere has to be one of a collaborative nature.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm with you, Marla. I'm not I love food. I might even be considered a foodie. I know, right? But I have been to some meetings serving as an advocate where they have brought in food, and it is comfortable. It is nice. It's a nice little snack to have as you're talking or whatever. So that atmosphere, is very important. And I think that I've been to so many meetings, Marla, where it is contentious, where you walk into the room and you just feel the weight, and it's hard because you kind of have this mentality, whether you're the parent or the educator, that it's going to be a fight.
Right.
And we all know that, mom and dad at home watching, this, we all know this. If you are on any of the Facebook pages of, for family members that have Down syndrome, you see the posts and you see the struggle, and that it's real. And so the more that you can just kind of create that positive atmosphere where you are a team, you're working together for the common good of this child.
Right.
Maybe even just having a picture up in the room, hey, this is the person we're working for here.
Right,
Let's not
right.
lose sight of that. I think sometimes lose sight of it because we get mad that the school district doesn't want to do it this way, or the school district gets mad because we don't want to do it that way.
Yeah.
And I think the more that you can create that positive atmosphere, the better. And I feel like we have a pretty positive atmosphere when we meet with our team. So
Yeah, and I think, then the last thing is when you have all three of those, then you get action, right?
absolutely.
You're not going to get action. People are not going to want to do anything for you if you're coming in, full fisted here,
Right, right.
like
Yeah.
the leprechaun for Notre Dame, like
Yeah,
what,
right. This is
so
not a football game.
yeah, right. And so I mean, we all want to be part of the team. We want to move the process forward, and if everybody is respectful and collaborative, then you're going to start seeing action, and they're going to be more receptive to your ideas, to your comments. And so I think, like I said, at the end of the day, it's really what's going to push the needle forward to get the child the best education in the least restrictive environment,
Yeah.
and feel meaningfully included at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And like I said, I've been in hundreds of IEP meetings serving as an LEA, and dozens more as a teacher, and probably now almost dozens more as a parent. And I've seen some very contentious meetings. I've had parents literally walk up and storm out and slam the door when I was on the educator side. I know, and it's frustrating.
It gets there.
Yeah, the action is not happening. The kid is not being served. And so I think that leads really well into the next topic we're going to talk about. But if you have this common goal, this common vision, this common whatever for that child, and every decision you make goes toward that, you are going to get some action. And of course, you need to have a positive approach, positive attitudes, and a positive atmosphere before that action can happen. And so I think that the more you can keep that that vision in mind of who you want this kid to be, the better. Little story here. I was in marching band for most of my school age life, and we would have to march in a straight line. And you see this at Notre Dame games, and they would tell you, don't look down at the field because you'll wander all over the place. Look, pick a point out in front of you and walk toward that.
Just stay focused on that.
Absolutely. And you'll walk a straight line almost every time. So if we think we're going to pick a point, which is your child, and your child at 25 or whatever you want it to be, and we're going to walk toward that, it makes it easier to make those decisions, I think.
Oh, sure.
And get action. So yeah, do you want to share a little bit about the kind of leading into that parent vision and that straight line? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, it's, obviously it's the parent vision statements. And if you haven't done one yet, it's a great opportunity for you to get started. So basically the parent vision statement is kind of your big dreams and your child's big dreams of where they want to be 10, 15, 20 years from now. It's not the how-to. So, when that conversation is like, well, how do we get there? That's not what the parent vision statement's for. It's the big picture goals, like Brian said, the goal of where they want to be at the end of the day. And so it's a really good opportunity for you to share that with the team. And I want to just say this, that it's not like you have one parent vision statement and that's good for the next 10 years.
No.
It's constantly changing, because the point of the parent vision statement is to really, it's got to be student centered. It's got to be student focused. So, if you talk to your child and, for instance, they like food and they want to maybe be a chef one day, maybe some of your goals will be centered around that. And then next year, they don't want to have anything to do with that. They want to become a veterinarian. They love pets. So I just want to keep that in mind, that if you're new to this journey of the IEP process, know that parent vision statement is going to be constantly changing and constantly evolving. And that you want to make sure that the team puts that into the IEP. So, start thinking about, using phrases like contributing to society, being independent, having a meaningful and a gainful job, having meaningful friendships, something about wants to go to post-secondary school. And the other thing is, think about all areas of the child's life, not just school. Maybe it's out in the community. Maybe they want to volunteer. Maybe they actually go to church, and how do they want to be a part of that church community? How are they going to get there? What's their role in that environment going to be? Maybe they actually participate in, like, I don't want to say after school activities, but at the end of the day activities, if you will. Maybe they like to go to a drama club or a book club or dance club or whatever the case may be. What is their involvement going to be? What do they want to gain from that? Maybe they want to be in the community college play.
Right.
So it's not really just all around school. It's every part of their life and how you envision them. So think of the IEP as the roadmap,
Mm-hmm.
and then the vision is obviously the goal, the destination.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's so important. And I remember hearing about this, excuse me, a while back. We had Amy Allison, the director of the Kansas City, Missouri Down Syndrome Guild Association.
Right.
And each year they have a big conference where they have speakers in and different things. And my wife and I had gone one year, and someone was talking about that, create a vision for your child. And that was just so foreign to me to think about. Like, I mean, he's 4, I don't know what 25 is going to look like.
I have no idea either.
I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like
Right,
sometimes.
exactly.
And so, but we went home, we created a vision statement for our child, and we don't know what it's going to be or what it's going to look like, but at least it gave us something to shoot for. It gave us a direction.
Right.
Like I said, that marching band, it was that focal point that lets us know that we're on track or off track.
Right.
And so I just brought up our vision here. I just said, at the age of 21, Nate's going to be able to live on his own. He'll be capable of driving, working independently at a job, going to college, living on his own if he chooses.
Right.
He's going to have the academic and life skills he needs to be able to do those above mentioned tasks. He'll be involved in the local church, giving back to the community, have a close-knit group of friends with whom he's able to socialize. And then we just said, we want him to be respectful of authority, responsible citizen, well-educated, financially responsible, mission-minded, service-oriented, a meaningful social life, and employed in a job or career that fits his talents.
Yeah,
we had no idea if that's even what he wants to do or will be capable of.
Exactly.
But we knew that every decision we make in our IEP meetings needs to lead us towards some semblance of that.
Sure.
And if we get 10 years down the road and we realize, living on your own is going to be not a thing, then we make adjustments. We'd love that to be a thing, but
exactly. But shoot big, right? Shoot big, because we never know. Presume competence. That's
absolutely
changing the way Down syndrome.
Absolutely. And so we created that, and we share it at every meeting, and we actually requested that it be put in the parent comment concern section.
Oh, yeah.
And the first couple of times they were real hesitant to do that. And it was funny. We had an advocate join us one time from the Kansas City, Missouri Down Syndrome Guild. Mm-hmm. And I went ahead and said, we'd like to have this put in there. And I feel like that you not putting it in there is denying our voice.
Absolutely.
And they immediately were like, well, yes, sir, we certainly will. So just having that advocate in the room, I've been asking for that for years.
I know.
All of a sudden it was there, But
and that's the whole point. It needs to be in the IEP, and like you mentioned, Brian, it's evolving as our child grows, and like for us, we're planting the seeds, of maybe Jacob does want to go to college. I even said to my husband today, I said, I think Jacob's going to just be in the food industry because he just loves food.
Yes.
Everything is about food.
Right.
So maybe I need to add that now into my parent vision statement.
Absolutely.
But, it's kind of hearing what excites them, what they want to do, start asking them questions, or, if you're out and about somewhere, just kind of ask them questions. Do you want to do this someday? Do you see, that kind of stuff? So again, those are the things that are going to drive, again, that parent vision statement. The IEP is the roadmap.
Yeah.
The parent vision statement is the destination. So when they start getting into the hows, that's not, because like Brian said, when everybody's got the eye on the goal, then you start figuring out the how.
Well, and the how becomes easier to figure out, I think. Does it mean it's easy? No, but it's easier because, and that's something I go back to, because you and I are both full inclusion advocates. And I say, if my child is in a self-contained classroom, is he going to be able to have meaningful relationships in the community?
Right.
Probably not.
Right.
So we need to make decisions now that help foster that.
Right.
And so, and we need to start there. If some point we have to pull back, okay, fine, we will. But we need to start there. And
Absolutely.
so that has given us that focus, so we haven't lost sight of that.
Right. Right. So again, like we mentioned, we've got 5 more minutes of our show, but
Yep.
just wanted to mention that again, we're all starting out the school year. If you haven't done a parent vision statement yet, start drafting it up. Sit down with your child, sit down with your significant other, and start thinking about things long term.
Absolutely.
Kind of plan that out. And again, that's not a set in stone document, that changes. And honestly, mine may change because I may put food.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But again, it's encouraging, like we said, the 4 C's, having the right approach, the right attitude, what was the atmosphere, and then obviously
action. Yeah. Yeah. And when you have those 4 A's, it's just going to be better, and it's going to be a more enjoyable year for you, your family members, for your child with Down syndrome. It's just going to go well.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. Well, we need to wrap it up. I know we've got about 3.5 minutes left, and we are excited to think about the future and the future of this program and the show that we have next month. We are excited to bring on board Sarah Jo Soldavieri. I hope I said that, Sarah Jo. I hope I said that right. She is the manager of the Inclusive Education Programming for the National Down Syndrome Society. And she is going to join us on Thursday, September 26th at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. And it's going to be a great show. I know, Marla, you know her better, but I've had a chance to talk to her a little bit. And she is going to be such a great resource for parents and educators alike. So you'll want to share this and get everyone you know to watch, because she's going to have so many great ideas and resources and just links and things that we can tap into, whether it's parents or educators, to better support our kids with Down syndrome. So you will definitely want to tune in.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Yeah, so I do know Sarah Jo, as I am actually part of the Inclusive Education Task Force with her, and we have been working really hard as a task force and coming up with some really great resources for you. So I can't wait for her to share what it is that we've been working on, because I know there are things that all of us need, no matter where you are in your journey. It's an awesome community, task force, and we're working really hard for all of you. So thank you, everyone, for being a part of our first show.
Yes, thank you.
So good to see you again, and we'll see everybody back here September 26th.
Yep, September 26th at 12 Eastern Time, 11 Central, 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific.
You're better at that than I am. Central.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for being here. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments, and please make sure you share the show with others, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks for being here. Have a great
year, everybody. Yeah.
Bye.
Good to see you, Marla. Bye-bye.
You too.